Dear colleagues, dear friends, good morning,
Good
Miss.
morning.
And very nice to see you all today in our continued training. Because as you are aware, we decided this year, and it was Miss Natalie's initiative in the first place, to continue a series of training sessions with you so that you could have a better understanding of what is happening at the International School of Tomorrow. But Miss Natalie, before we begin, I would love to make an announcement for Russian speakers. And I'll do it in Russian. Для русскоговорящей аудитории, если вам нужен перевод, у вас есть в меню вот такой значок «Перевод». Вы кликаете на этот значок и выбираете русский язык. Еще разочек для русскоговорящей аудитории. Если вам нужен перевод на русский язык нашего сегодняшнего занятия, вы находите в нижней строчке в меню «Перевод», да, значок перевода, и, соответственно, вы выбираете русский язык. А пока я попрошу всех отключить микрофончики, чтобы у нас было пока вот взаимодействие такое. Okay, so now I hope that everybody who needs Russian translation found the sign of a globe. It says translation. You click on it, you choose the Russian language. And I would appreciate it if for the time being you keep your microphones off. You will have a chance to turn them on at some point maybe. But you can use the chat because we are monitoring the chat, and as you have any questions, we will be able to answer them in chat, or later on we'll address those questions at the end of our session. Okay, Mrs. Natalie, last time we spoke about, tell me what we spoke about.
Yeah, we spoke about the beginning of the School of Tomorrow program, and that was the diagnostic test. Why we're doing this diagnostic, and the short procedure for your understanding. And then we were talking and introducing the main tool of the School of Tomorrow program, the PACE. What is the PACE? How to use it? How to work with it? What is important in this little booklet?
Okay, and I want actually to start with a little quiz. Okay, I hope those of you who were present in this session or maybe watched this session later on.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Not
yet. Okay, Miss Natalie is telling me not yet because our wonderful operator David Sarbach is getting it ready. Right, Mr. David? Yes, he's right. Look at me now. But anyway, why do we use the diagnostic test? Can you please use the chat and jot down your answer? Why do we use the diagnostic testing? Okay, anybody, just could you please use the chat and give me an answer? Why do we use the diagnostic test? Because you see, a student comes to school, why using diagnostics, right? He is like 8 years old. Oh, that's good. Yes, to know the level of academics. Absolutely right. I know that I'm not, so to speak, revealing the America to you, or whatever the expression is. And you all know that before you place a child to monitor student's progress, that's good. Mr. Peter, thank you very much, Mr. Pete. Yes, that's right. We need to know exactly where the student is so that we could administer the curriculum not according to the chronological age, but according to the actual level of his or her performance. And that's right. That's why some of you came to our school, Miss Natalie. Maybe some parents are frustrated. My child should be in the 4th grade, and you are giving him curriculum for the 3rd grade. That's right. That's true. But what happens if a child tests out as a 3rd grader and he's a 4th grader? How do we get him to the level?
So he will complete the number of paces according to his diagnostic test, and then he'll be moved closer to his age level, and he will start the program with a feeling that it is not, it is easy. And so for the child, it's much better to start when it is easy instead of when it is very hard. And another very important thing that we measure his level, we measure what he knows exactly.
Yes, and I see your answers. Your answers are absolutely correct. So thank you very much. I can tell that you understand very well how the system is working at the initial level when a student is just enrolled at the school. And we spoke about a couple of. Oh, you have something. We'll do this thing, Miss Natalie. But look, I brought here something that we use for our teachers, and it is called
Procedures manual.
Procedures Manual. You see, everything that is happening in the Learning Center, we would love for you to know, it's not something that we think up on the spur of the moment. It's not what the teachers decide to do on their own. We all have this manual that describes every aspect of the Learning Center. How to set goals, how to do the scoring, how to do pace work, how to approach a student. So, and our teachers go through this training thoroughly. They have 1 week of training, and then we continue training and retraining. And Mrs. Natalie is just after all the teachers all the time. And we also would love for you as parents to know what is happening in the Learning Center. And this is the Procedures Manual for the Learning Center, 2 volumes. And then we also have a manual for the preschool and for the ABCs. So your young students also enjoy the Learning Center according to the Learning Center procedures. And Miss Natalie, I know that you prepared something special for the parents.
Right. So I definitely don't want the parents to overload with an information and not to make you to study that procedures manual. I would love to give you small hints of the Learning Center, the main and important things which you supposed to know as parents to help the school to move the child in the right direction. And I would like, I hope that you have a cup of coffee by you, and I would like to begin with a short cartoon, very informative, I would say. So please enjoy the cartoon.
Do you know why the ACE curriculum and program produces the best academic results? It is due to their academic philosophy that is based on their 5 laws of learning. The first law is assigning the level. The student is placed on a level of curriculum where he can best perform. Just like a seed must be placed in the correct soil so it can properly grow. The second law is setting goals. The student sets reasonable and appropriate goals to be achieved in a realistic period of time. This plant's final goal is to be a strong tree with an abundance of delicious apples. Then the third law is providing motivation and control. The student receives motivation through encouragement and achieves control through guidance. Just as the plant needs water and sunlight as its motivation and control to continually grow. Now the fourth law is determining measurements. The student's learning must be measured, which relates to accountability. Now you can see the progress in the plant's growth. The final law is ascribing rewards. The student's learning receives recognition and rewards for its effort and significance. At this point, the tree is receiving the benefits of its labor with a basket full of delicious apples and recognition for its growth. That is ACE's 5 laws of learning.
Wow, very simple. Very simple, Miss Natalie.
Yeah,
I loved it.
Yeah, very simple, and as I said, very informative, because in 3 minutes you received the main philosophy of the School of Tomorrow. And as you already understood that the last training we introduced to you the first law of learning, the determining the level of the child, so how we do it, how we begin. And today I would like to continue with other laws of that little cartoon and of the philosophy, and go into the details where all the actions are going on in the Learning Center.
So, Miss Natalie, I believe you prepared some slides for this thing.
Definitely.
All right, so we'll share with you now the slides so that we would continue with more laws of learning, and so we could see how those laws of learning apply in the Learning Center. Okay, let us see, Miss Natalie. I think that's what we have here. Okay, you're on.
All right. So, Learning Center procedures. And as you already know from the last presentation, that we start within paces, like the main tool that the kids are learning. And you already know that there are 5 paces the students are studying, and they are color-coded. So this is math, English, science, social studies, in word building. So define 5 main subjects. As you remember, or maybe you don't remember because the cartoon was very short, you have a chance to look it one more time, and I will give you the link of it, and it will be in our also presentation, that the second law of the School of Tomorrow philosophy is setting goals. How do we do it? The child, from the time he starts already doing and working in paces, when the child learn already how to read, they set goals every day. They receive that goal card, and this is the goal card of the primary level, where everything is colorful and very attractive, and the kids are learning to set number of pages they're supposed to do every day while working at school. So you can look at this card and you see that there are days of the week, there are subjects, they are all colorful, there is a student name and the date, and this is another thing that they are learning from the very beginning. They are learning how to fill in a lot of blanks, because through their life they will be filling plenty of applications, plenty of blanks, and this is another habit that they are learning aside the knowledge one. So the younger ones, they are using this goal card, and the older students, they are using the smaller size of the goal card, and you can see the ideal variant of that goal card. So the student, according to the age, they are setting different number of pages for the paces. So the younger students, they set around 4 pages for each subject. The older students, they might have number pages up to 7 and 8, and the number of pages, it might be even more according to their academic projection, if they need to catch up the level. So you can see on this goal card that at the very right end you see the total number of pages, and if the child completes all these number of pages at school, so he has no homework. So that is why for those parents who are surprised that some of the kids are coming home without the homework, that it means that they completed all their goals at school. I will go into the homework procedure a little bit later and give you some more information about it. But you may just look one more time at this goal card and set it for yourself as an example. The students are using the blue pen while they are filling the goal card. So also, you remember that when they are working in the paces, they are doing they are working with a pencil and eraser. If they are filling in the goal card, they are using the blue pen. So those are main writing tools that they're supposed to have. So they don't need anything else except the colorful pencils if their students are of primary level.
Miss Natalie, I'll be interrupting you because for example, you explain very thoroughly all the goals. I've seen all the subjects, how they set up. We see the number of pages. I hope now, parents, you are more at peace when your child comes home and says no homework. And you say, how no homework? What are they doing there at school? No homework. Yes, if your child has completed, as Miss Natalie already mentioned, all the goals at school, no homework. Okay, give them this privilege of resting without any pacework. Miss Natalie, what does this line crossing the numbers mean, number of pages mean?
The line crossing numbers of pages means that the goal completed.
Okay, all right. So, and what happens if they don't complete the goal?
If they don't complete the goal, that is going to be a homework, and that would be another slide. So I'll go to it a little bit later.
Okay, I guess I'm jumping the gun.
Yes,
okay,
you're jumping a little.
Go ahead.
So after the students set their goals, what they're doing? They're doing the pace work. The main studying, as you know, right? So that they are learning the paces, they're reading the rules, they're memorizing the rules, they're studying the words, they're reading texts. As you remember, they're supposed to read text before they're filling in the blanks after the text, and they're working. So you see the offices, you see the teachers, and the teachers are helping the students if they need any help, if they need any explanation. And I would like also to pay you attention for the main rule in our school, that the students should ask questions. So if they don't understand the material, they have to ask the teacher to help. But before they ask that question, they need to read the pace. So the student cannot just call the teacher without even going inside of the pace, without reading and say, oh, I don't know what to do, or I don't understand this one. And if the teacher asks the question, did you read at least the text? And the child said, no. Then the teacher tells the child, read the text first, and then after that I will explain you. So this is the slide which shows you our pace work time. After they are working in the pace, and as you remember that the pace work they finish, they have to be controlled. And the first control, this is the scoring procedure. So the child finishes 4 pages and he asks the permission to score their work at the scoring table, at the scoring station. The flag usually they raise, this is the Russian flag, you may see on one of the picture of this one, and then they are coming to the scoring station and score their work. So I would like to, again, for you to know that, that they have enough time to score, that they have to score only a certain number of pages which are mentioned in the goal card. They cannot finish the whole pace at home during the weekend and then come and try to score everything in one day. So this is against of the procedure. So they are working, they are scoring according to the goal card. Very important that they have to score fairly, that they have to mark all the mistakes there. Because if they don't do that, then the teachers are checking their work before they will do the test. And then if they find scoring violations, it means the mistakes which the child didn't mark in the pace, that pace will be returned and the child is supposed to correct all the mistakes. That is why, and this is where and how they're slowing down in themselves. Instead of moving according to the proper speed, the child slows down because he doesn't like to see those mistakes and he skips them. So that is why it's important that they have no scoring violations.
Yeah, Miss Natalie, that's a very, I want to just take a step back when you mentioned about, yes, students might skip something, they don't want to see their mistakes, they might cheat. Okay, how come that we allow students to go by themselves to the scoring station, get the score keys, no less, which means the answers. So how do we still ensure that there's like good solid mastery of the material if they can cheat?
This is another thing of the character trait that we are trying to teach the child. We want them to be responsible for their work. And they have to understand and learn it that this is their own responsibility to check the work and not to be afraid of the mistakes. It is absolutely fine to make mistakes. People make mistakes, but those mistakes, they can be corrected. That is why it is important. It is not scary and it is not bad to make mistakes. It is bad to cheat. It is bad not to recognize those mistakes. That is why it is fine, and we are teaching them, we are guiding them in this one, that please find the mistake, but you have a chance to correct it.
Yeah, Miss Natalie just mentioned a very important thing, that those procedures are not only of the academic value, they're also of character development value, because we want to build the trust. We want to tell our students, we trust you. When you go to the scoring station, when you check your own work with the score keys, yes, you have the answers. Technical, you can just put down whatever and then go and find the answers. But this is not what we want them to do. We want them to really to learn, to be trusted, and to do a proper job, because this is the skill for their life. And thank you for bringing it up. So this scoring is not just scoring, it's all also about character building.
And adding a bit to the scoring procedure, so I refer you again to this little cartoon, because scoring, this is the third law, this is control. And here the students are using a red pen, and this red pen is only available at the scoring station. So they cannot bring the red pen from their home. They are taking it at the scoring station, and then they mark mistakes only there. There is another thing that will speed them up, like privilege. If the child follows certain rules in the learning center, they might get a privilege of free scoring. So that is why if they score fairly and if they finish all their goals on time, they might get certain numbers of privilege, ACE. There are 3 types of privileges, and one of that privilege allows them to go and score without permission, without asking the permission from the teachers. Because you may hear at home, the students may say, oh, I was sitting for the whole lesson waiting that the teacher will allow me to score. So I may tell you that usually it is not true. Okay, so we are moving to another slide where I would like to introduce the connection between the parents and the school. This is our school life book. Originally, we had the homework slip. The slip where the child will move not finished goals and bring that slip home, and that was their homework information. Several years ago, we produced that school life book where we combined all the homework slips for the whole year, that they would keep it in one booklet. And also in that information, there are other useful things. So in that school life book, this is how it looks this year. Every year we had different colors. You can find the mission of the school. You can find the pledge which the child is doing every morning. There is a calendar with the main information for our main holidays and main, not main, but just vacation time. And then you see the schedule for every day. You see the color-coded cubes, squares actually, where you the child writes the number of the paces. And there is also the correction. Action note is in here, so when the child doesn't behave or gets a detention, in that booklet it is also marked. So for you parents, my only request is that every day you just have to ask the child to show you this school life book, and you have to put the signature that you know that the child had a homework. You don't need to study with him at home. You don't need to quiz him. You just need only to fact that you knew that the child has a homework. So if he doesn't bring the school life book at home and there is no signature, so he gets a demerit here at school, so he gets a correction. So that is my request to you as parents.
And Miss Natalie, if I can jump in here, because I see the next slide coming up, and I want to tell you, those who know me, they know that I'm a gadget man. I love phones, everything, just computers, laptops, cameras, of course. And nevertheless, when I keep my records, I also use this yellow School of Tomorrow booklet. And we believe in this hybrid or blended version of teaching and using different means of instruction. different things for recording. That's why this booklet, you might say, why not electronic? Of course, we do have electronic things, but we also would love for you and for your child just to have the feel of paper, the feel of the pencil. I believe this is important for like to have a better touch with life. That's why really encourage your students to fill up this this school life book. And Miss Natalie, just continue because I see there's a very interesting slide coming up. Okay, next.
Yeah, I also just want to let you know that this school life book we introduce as of primary 2 class. If the student is in the primary 1 A or B, they do have that school life book, but they do not bring it home. They are learning how to fill it in under the teacher's control, and this is they are only using it at school. So that is why from primary 2 and up, especially the senior students, this is the students who feel they don't need this book, they can remember everything, they know what to do, they know better than teachers and parents altogether. So please, the junior and senior parents request that book every day from your child. We are coming to the next slide, and I remember this goal card. This is another one, and remember that if the child didn't finish some pages, then he moves those pages into the school life book as a homework. So I took just the random example. I didn't look for the best one. I just took the very first one and took a picture and just show it to you how it might look. So there is a parent signature, and there are homework assignment, and you can see that there is some words written that the page is like memorize, not only write but memorize, or review the checkup it might be. And the kid may also make a mistake writing not the correct page. It is fine. It's just the booklet for their use. So this is how an example of how the page of the homework might look. But it should not be absolutely empty. It might be. And then there are only 2 variants, 2 options. Either your child is a brilliant student and he has no homework at all, or your child doesn't bring the school life book home and doesn't fill it in. Definitely teachers control it. Definitely teachers require. But we need your help, because it cannot be if you don't control them at home. So about the homework, Mr. Len had questions, so I answered that question about the homework, so that everything is moved into those pages. We are coming to next information when the student finished the PACE and completed everything, and they are doing the PACE test. I already showed that to you in the previous training, and I went into the details, and just a quick reminder here about the PACE test. And I would like also to tell you that, referring again to that cartoon, that the PACE test is the 4th law where the child is determining the measurements also. So we need to see how he's doing and with what results. What is very important about the PACE test, that the child can submit to the teacher the finished PACE within all corrected mistakes, with no scoring violations, and he will take the test only the next day. So that is why, please remember, and don't be disappointed if the child didn't take the test right on the same day of the PACE.
And exactly that's what I want to ask you. Why not? He's just finished everything. He has everything at his fingertips. Why can't you give him the test right away?
Because he has to remember everything, and just our brain just needs time to put the information the child learned into the long memory.
Okay, that's very important, that we don't want just the quick fix, so to speak, so that they just remember all the things and they put it down and then forget the next day. a child, as far as I know, Miss Natalie, does not get a finished pace to take home.
Usually not.
Usually not. So next morning he comes either blank or really remembering everything that he has learned. In other words, one of the things that we really enforce and promote within the School of Tomorrow philosophy and academics is mastery. So the material has to be mastered, has to be memorized, has to be at the, so to speak, at their fingertips, so they can really apply all these things for real life and, in this case, to the test. All right, and
the pace test lasts 40 minutes, so it has time limit. Only for the senior level, when they're doing algebra, when they're doing already geometry, trigonometry, it may take 2 lessons. But our lessons, they last 40 minutes, and usually the child can write the test not longer than 40 minutes. As for the results, that the minimum test result for the grade 1 to 4th is 88%. For the grade 5 to 12 is 80. But we are trying to mastering our children to have higher results than 80, even on the junior and senior level, because our school has the model status. And according to the model status requirements, we have to have the pretty high school average. It should be over 88% for the whole school.
And Ms. Natalie, maybe some parents are interested. What, like 80%, refers to in terms of a 4, a 3, a 5, a 2?
Yes, so you can see it here that the if the child receives 80 or a little bit more, then this is C, and we grade it for C. 88 it's B, and then 94 and up, this is A. And just the very important thing that if the child fails the test, he requires to repeat a pace. That is why it is very important that the child is mastering the knowledge, that we are working for the quality, not for the number of doing of paces. So that is why when they're trying to be relaxed the whole quarter and then trying to finish half of their number of paces for the whole quarter the last week, it is not acceptable, and we do not allow that. Please don't be surprised. I'll go into it further. So after the child finishes the test, we come to the third law, which is motivation, yes, and recognition. So he gets the congratulations slip. And many of you do know this little piece of paper. It may look different, so all the variants you can see here. And the teacher gives that congratulations slip. The next day, the child finished the test. The kid receives, together with the congratulations slip, the stars to stick on their star chart or on the bulletin board with 100%. And the merits, because when the kid finishes the test, he gets merits. So this is another law, motivation of the child. But you can see that on the star chart, you will not see the score of the student, because we believe that all the students are successful, and you would see only the stars. The results you will receive as parents, it will be written in the congratulations slip, and it would be given to you at the end of the quarter in the progress report.
And Ms. Natalie, I want to ask, because this is really important, how should parents really react? Let us say I come home and I say, Mom, okay, I've got my congratulations slip today.
Very nice. Good job, Len. So you are very good student. All right. So maybe we can do something as a family during the weekend. Maybe we'll go to the park and buy you something.
Yes.
And
all right. Yes. Thank you, Miss Natalie. She just, what Miss Natalie did, you need to remember, and you need to adopt as a model for your receiving of the congratulations slip, you should encourage your students. It should not be just the school thing, even though you see in the slide that we also congratulate students on receiving of the congratulations slip, but it has to go on with the family, because this way you show to your child that you care. And this is another motivational tool. As Miss Natalie mentioned, the 5 law of learning is that the child's learning has to be rewarded and motivated. This is one of the greatest motivation, when students know that you as a parent care.
Okay, and then we again touching a bit the law which talks about the control. And this is the honor roll projection. So we remember the pace conversion sheet. And every quarter the teacher prepares the honor roll projection for the child. This is how it looks, and I'm sure for the parents who are with us for several years, you can you know this slip already, and all the information is also in school life book. So you can see that the slip, which usually we hang in the student's office, it's on the top to the left, and in the corner of the right, this is the same information in school life book, and definitely it should be your signature there. If you look at this slip, you may see that the student has it might be color coded. I mean, you may have several colors, or you may have just one color and some paces in brackets. It means what? That student, if the student is on level, he finishes 15 paces per quarter. If he does only international program, only School of Tomorrow program. If the student is doing 2 programs in the Russian 2, he finishes 12 paces per quarter. If the child is below level and he needs to catch up with his age level, he might have in the honor roll projection 15 plus. So it might be more than 15. It might be 17, 18, it might be 20. And for some students of the high school, it might be even more, because the high school students, grades 9 to 12, they receive honor roll projection according to their graduation projection. So that is why if you are coming to school and if you ask, oh, Mrs. Julie, we want to graduate in 3 years, Mrs. Julie would say, okay, we will try, but it depends on your student. Then you will see that on the honor roll projection, your child might have 20 and over 20 number of paces. And then you as a parent may see that if your poor girl or a boy really struggles through this honor roll projection, and it's very difficult, maybe there is no need to finish the school in 3 years, and you can do it in 4 years with a better quality. So for you to understand how it looks and how we use it and how we control the students' level, it helps with an honor roll projection. For your information, that every quarter when the teacher prepares this projection, they go through meeting with me as a coordinator of the School of Tomorrow program in school, as an academic coordinator and the vice principal. So they are checking it with me. So I'm aware of all the projections, what the teachers prepared for your students. And only after my approval, they are given to you for the signature. So that is why if you have any questions, you definitely approach the teacher first. But then we might meet together with you if we need some corrections in it. So when the child completes their honor roll, what goes next? Next goes the award. And the students receive honor roll certificate, honor roll award. There are 2 types of honor roll in our school. Honor roll B, if the child finishes paces within score of 88 to 93, and the honor roll A, if the child finishes all the paces within score 94 and 100. Please remember that if the student didn't finish honor roll like the projection, honor roll projection, but the score is lower than 88, it means that he accepted only 80%, he might not get certificate. So the average should be over 88 to receive this certificate. For the new parents, I would like to encourage you, because you might already have a feeling, oh, I know my child is not doing this number of paces for sure. I'll just give you a secret, but please don't share it with your students, that for all the brand new students who just enrolled into our school in September and who are learning all those procedures, we grant the first honor roll. So they will receive the honor roll anyway. It doesn't matter how many paces they would finish, because we would like them to give the taste of that honor roll ceremony, of the field trip after the honor roll ceremony, all the awards what the students receive when they complete their work, that next quarter they would understand properly and they would try to achieve and fulfill the honor roll projection. And it would be much easier for them to finish it, because they might be very scared of that number of paces they have in their honor roll projection. But that is the secret between me and you, dear parents. As for my information, this is basically it. I would like just to show you the picture which we just took yesterday, and you can see our senior class with students who are gonna graduate this year and who are still staying with us for another year, because in our school the students might graduate from all 3 senior classes. So that is why, please don't count that my students should be in senior 3 only. Your student can graduate being in senior 1. Here we have students who are graduating for all 3 classes. So here you have not only one class, so we have several classes in here. So look at these happy faces of your kids. This is September, but they, I think, already have a feeling that they accomplished their work, and they accomplished their work successfully. Thank you, dear parents.
Miss Natalie, thank you very much as well for this most exciting presentation, and I believe now you have a much better understanding of what is happening in the learning centers, the logic and the philosophy that is behind every aspect of your child's curriculum, procedures, methodology, and life, because we are training students to be good citizens, to be good people, and all those things that they're doing in the learning center is a part also of their character development. But as you also noticed, we cannot do it without you as parents.
Absolutely.
We are in the same boat, and we need to work together in unison, and we have to be, for a child, we have to be a true team. In this case, they will be safe, they will excel, and they will feel successful. As Miss Natalie mentioned already, that one of our goals is to make your child feel successful. We want to build this foundation for their life, so that as they go, they will fall down, they will just have troubles, they will have, we all know this. But if they have this experience of overcoming and being successful, it will last through the rest of their life. So thank you very much about this part and for staying with us. I suggest right now, maybe you have some questions and you can use the chat, and we'll make a transition because we have still another person who is coming over here. Okay, Mr. Natalie, there's a question. What is the annual date? I guess you're asking about annual date for the graduation ceremony. Can you specify, please?
The annual date is probably on one of the cards. So this is the
Oh,
annual
the annual
date.
date.
Annual date is probably in the honor roll projection by the time they have to finish all those phases.
Okay. Yes, and please pay attention to the honor roll projections. That would be really important, because this way you will be helping your student accomplish everything within a projected period of time. And I will reiterate one one thing that probably we didn't mention, Miss Natalie, but it is important to understand that we believe it is of paramount importance how much work a child has completed every day, because these are small steps, small paces that they're taking every day, and they're getting closer and closer to their final goal. That's why, again, as parents, also pay attention to what is completed every day by a child.
There is a question also that if the child fails the test, does he need to complete all the previous paces? No, he has to repeat only that pace which he failed.
But when you say all the lessons, they repeat maybe, still will say the whole pace. And sometimes teachers do make an exception, I will say this, and they sometimes make them redo all the checkups, sometimes the whole thing.
It depends, yes.
It depends, but as a rule, okay, I mean, as the procedures manual recommends, a child repeats the whole pace. And this is the training again, do it right from the very beginning, from the very first time. And Miss Natalie, there's another question. Number of paces completed from the beginning of the year?
It's individual number. So every child has its own number.
For example, if a child is behind the level, then we try to give him more paces so that he could get to his level as soon as possible. If he is ready to advance and, let us say, do paces of the 6th level while he is in the 5th level, no problem. We allow them to fly and to advance. And that's the beauty of the School of Tomorrow technology, that students can really progress at their own individual rate.
Sometimes we even slow down the children a little bit because we don't want them to come to the topics which they are not ready to accept naturally according to their age. So that is why some of the students, they might have even less number of paces, not 15, they might have even 10. And the lowest we usually allow even 8 paces if the child advanced like a level and a half or closer to the 2 levels ahead. But we are not, we're trying not to allow this one because it's an exceptional case.
But of course, you will be working with your teachers, with your supervisors, and you will be working out together the academic progress of your child. Okay, Miss Natalie, I guess we've taken almost an hour just talking about procedures, but we have still another very exciting topic. And in this moment, you can just actually grab a cup of tea or a cup of coffee. It's allowed.